Hello, people. Hope you guys having a wonderful Thursday. I have a video I'm going to share, and actually, he said to share it, so I don't have to feel worried about copyrights and all that stuff. I tell you, I think copyrights do more damage than good sometimes. But anyway, I'm going to share his video, and that's all I'm going to do, play his video, and I'm going to come back and do um, a full-fledged missions report. A lot of good things in the missions report today from all around the world. People getting converted and all kind of things are happening. So I'm coming back and share that maybe an hour or so after this video. And so you guys go ahead and listen to what he is saying about these shootings going on. And I think it's good advice. I think you can learn something from it. Even if you don't own a weapon, you can learn something from this, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and play it. I did send it out to a few of you last night, but I'm going to go ahead and play it for everybody to hear it. I think it's a wonderful report. So let me go ahead and play it right now. Okay.
Oh, I'm back home from out of town, and of course, while I was gone, what took place? Well, there was two mass shootings that took place. One in El Paso, Texas, and another one, I believe, to be in Dayton, Ohio. And what's troubling about all this is there just seems to be something that is just better understood than said that's going on in this country. But the nature of this particular video right here, and the reason why that Pastor Dowell is here this morning, is I want to try to do what I can to give women information in order to how to protect themselves when they go out into the public. Now here at Straightway, I talk extensively, especially to my home, about what to look for, how to carry yourself, how that you cannot afford to allow your senses or your sense or your heightened sense of awareness to ever go down. You're not considered technically, quote unquote, safe nowhere out in the general public until you actually get back home and you cross the threshold of your door, the door of your house. Even at that, you should try to do something to always practice OPSEC security, okay? Now, there's this Patrick Crisis at age 21 of Dallas. He went down to El Paso, Texas, and he shot and killed anywhere between 19 and 21 people with an AK-47. Now, the news media is not calling him a domestic terrorist. They're not even calling him a white supremacist. They're not even say it's hate speech. They're not giving him all the titles that go with someone that is a terrorist. What's amazing is that he lives in Dallas and he drove all the way to El Paso, Texas, just for the sole purpose to target Hispanic Americans and to kill them. That's it. No other motive. It's remarkable and amazing because I think, if my memory serves me correct, he got taken alive. But then the other one in Dayton, I believe, was actually shot and killed. Now, let's get to the nature of this. All right. First of all, number one, women, I don't care who you are. I want y'all to listen to me. You do not get to pick the day, the time, or the hour when evil comes your way. You need to stop walking around in this fog, this brain fog. And I realize that many of you are very pessimistic against firearms. Now, mind you, I've demonstrated once, I said it 1,000 times. Firearms do not kill people. People kill people. Firearms is no different than a knife. It's no different than a box cutter. It's no different than a guitar. It's no different than a helmet or a hammer. It's just an instrument and a tool that is being used to actually cause the death, the hell, and the carnage. It's the weapon of choice of domestic terrorists that decides to go out here and kill allegedly their own so-called quote-unquote people, which we see that is clearly not the case here in America. I've asked them firearms, and I can't tell you how many times over the years to jump up off them tables, get off that wall, and shoot me. And it's never complied. I've insulted the firearms. I've done everything in my power to try to get that firearm to respond, and it has never, ever, ever jumped up off that table. It's never gotten out of that rack. It's never came off that wall, and it has never shot me. I wonder why. I wonder why that takes place. But anyway, women, let me give you some of the things that I teach our women to do, because sometimes our sisters are out in the public venue and they have children with them. And of course, all our women, the majority of them, 99% of them, all are, number one, trained, because their pastor and their husbands care about them, trained. And number two, they're very, very proficient in knowing their firearm and what to do. Women, the first thing you do is when you get out of your vehicle and you go into some shopping mall or some food store, all right, you have a live section of the food store, then you have a dead section, and then you have these super centers that have a live section, meaning where the produce department is or where the fruits and vegetables are. Then you have the dead section. That's everything else is all back there. And then you have an electronic section, you have a clothing section, and then you have a homestead section, okay? And then you have a sporting goods section. That's what's pretty much, or that is pretty much what Walmart consists of, okay? Walmart seems to be one of the places that these people, whoever gets a wild hair up their point of contact, seems to want to have a make my day moment. Don't let it be you. All right, first of all, number one, when you get out of the vehicle, the first thing you need to do is take a good assessment of your environment. You look around. And you can kind of do it inconspicuous, you know what I mean, while you're looking around and while you're getting the children out or even yourself. But you're really truly scanning to make sure everything is all right. And as you approach the door, you're going in there. Okay? Always pay attention to who's in front of you and who's behind you. But I'm going to tell you right now that it's a very stressful thing to be on your P's and Q's, or to constantly be assessing and looking around, because remember, you're there to get in, to do what you need to do, and to get out and to get back home. And if you make it back home safely, that's a win. I don't care if it's the post office, I don't care if it's Walgreens, I don't care if it's Walmart, I don't care where in the world you're going. If it's a quick stop or Shell, it makes no difference whatsoever at all. Every single place, including restaurants, when you are sitting there and you are out in the general public, you are in hostile environment, and you need to shape your mind as such. Again, you do not get to pick the day, the time, or hour when evil comes your way. While you're in the store, when you go down an aisle, you always look before you and after you. Now, I skipped a step. Let me go back. Once you enter into the threshold of the store, the first thing you need to do is pay attention to all the exits. Walmart has plenty of exits. And if there is someone in there that's firing off a firearm, all those exits are accessible. Get it out of your head, get it out of your mind that the door you came in or the door at the other end, them the only two doors you can use. No. If you are in the produce section, there's some double doors that you can actually duck into and find your way through there, navigate your way through there, and get to the outside of the store if you hear shots being fired. If you're in the back, there's a layaway department back there. There's a loading dock back there in these stores. Pay attention to where all the exits are. Do not go run into no bathroom. There's a tire and lube center that's down there. Depending on what area you're in, there's usually an exit somewhere in Walmart. For instance, whenever you're planting, you have plants and you have flowers and everything, there's an exit at that particular end at that particular store in Walmart. If you're in a live section of the produce area and stuff, there's some double doors that you can duck in and run through there. You need to know where your exit points are, because if you hear shots fired across the store, you don't go over and investigate. First thing you do is you get low and you head towards the exit and you get out of there. And when you get out of there, you make sure you run to some point of safety until the carnage stops. Because if you get on your cell phone and try to dial 911, it could take upwards, like this one did, 6 minutes for the police to get there. You don't depend on the police to protect you, because they are not designed to protect you. Do you understand? All right. Now, usually, soldiers, and I might add soldiers who are in the infantry, airborne, air assault rangers, special forces, Navy SEALs, Marine Raider, Force Recon, Delta. I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay, usually opt for top tier soldiers like that. Okay, usually whenever they hear fire, we've been trained to run to the fire, to go to the fire, and that's because of training. It's ingrained in us to go to the fire. You just go straight to the fire. That's what men do who are trained. Regular civilians, regular cops on the beats of sheriffs, they're not trained like military, top tier military guys are. They just simply are not. They don't train that way. They have a total different job. That's it. So they're not trained to go to it. Now, the only people that I know out here that are trained to go to fire is the SWAT team. But I tell you what, the majority of the people that is your county cops or your county sheriffs, if they go into a hostile environment like that, the majority of them are going to get killed, especially if it's a veteran that's done either lost his mind or this guy right here decided he's going to be a racist and start taking people out. But men, if you are with your families and you hear fire going, this is not the time for you to play hero. It's not the time for you to act like that you're back in the military again and you're in a war zone and you've got to eliminate the threat. We all have got to learn how to change our mind for us to live to fight another day. If you have your family with you, you should automatically have been casing the joint to find out where all the exit points are. All right. And then from there, you should automatically be looking around and scanning. That's why I always recommend that women, if you're going to go to a store, always have either one or two people with you, two sisters with you. And if your husband with you, he needs to be trained because, going to a gun store and buying a firearm and just carrying it on you does not mean that you're proficient. It does not mean that you're technically or tactically sound. It does not mean that you're familiar with that weapon and you know what you are doing. It just doesn't mean that. And that's the mistake that too many times, more often than not, that people make here in America, is that people go out and purchase a firearm and they believe it's on them and they believe that they're safe. And they have no clue whatsoever at all about the functionality of it. They have no clue whatsoever at all about how to use it, how to hold it, how to engage it. They do not even go to the range or either their backyard if they're living in the country. They do not stay proficient in shooting. They just don't, because if you don't train, how do you think you're going to respond at the most inopportune time when evil comes your way that day? You need to always be ready. And I think it's the heightened sense of selfishness and apathy, passivity and complacency when a man does not spend time even thinking about how to defend his loved ones who he says he loves, much less train them. Okay, let's just say now, let's go to the next section. You're in the store, you're shopping, okay? Again, no matter what section you're in, you should know where the exits are, and then you should be aware of your surroundings. If you see people in there with a backpack or they're wearing a long trench coat or something like that, get the hell away from them. Move out. Go somewhere else. Much less if you feel uncomfortable, you pay attention to that gut feeling that's in your stomach. Get out of the area. Get out of the AO. Leave the store if necessary. And let all the other mindless minions of the people who believe that they're in a safe environment and they think that America is the greatest country in the world and everything and all this old other stuff and God bless America. Leave all them idiots in there, them passive idiots in there to themselves. If you feel it, you get out there, go somewhere else, because chances are your gut is right. Because when bullets start flying, when people are not trained, what do civilians do when they usually hear gunshots? What do? They usually look around, scream, holler, expose themselves, and they're not trained to get down. They're not trained to go to the exits where they need to go in order to get their family out there. Let's say if you're in the middle of the store, women or men, okay, if you're in the middle of the store, what do? First time you hear shots, first of all, you have to identify where the shots is coming from. Is it your front? Is it your rear? Is it your left or is it right? Whatever way those shots are coming from or where they're coming from, because bullets don't have eyes. They go wherever that gun is pointed, okay? Wherever you hear shots, you go the opposite direction. And stay low. Stay the hell low, because you don't know how many shooters there are. You don't know the level of threat. You have no idea. But you better have your weapon in your hand. And you need to be careful about having your weapon in your hand, because when people start panicking and you got a lot of people that's carrying guns, they may just shoot the hell out of you. You need to know what you're doing, because people, when they lose it, and then next thing you know, you got a crossfire from hell. But I keep telling y'all, if I said it once, I said it 1,000 times, be it on my Patreon channel or over here. Look what happens every single time a weapon is deployed and it's used against the general public. Do you know in Texas how many people carry firearms? No. Now I know that this guy planned this out right, because he realizes that when you go to El Paso, Texas, anybody ever been to El Paso, Texas? It's a crap hole. All right. So the majority of people down there, it's a poor area where people can't even really afford firearms, because by the time you get finished buying one of these firearms, you out upwards of $500 or $600 something dollars, $700. By the time you get finished getting bullets, $800. By the time you get finished paying the state for all these taxes that are levied against you just for being able to have the privilege, when it's your right to be able to carry this thing, you're out upwards of $1,000, and everybody just don't have $1,000 to go drop to buy a firearm. You better do whatever you can. Talk to grandma, grandpa, whoever it can, and get proficient and learn. You see, when people are getting shot and they're going off into eternity, and someone decides they're going to take your life, when you hear that first shot, you got the rest of your life to figure out what the hell you going to do. And you know what? If you were trained, there will automatically be a reaction. Automatically. You will be more calm than everybody else. You will assess the situation. You will grab your children and you will head out. You will literally head out. I think that when men today, especially in this country right here, choose to be passive and choose to be so busy that they can't spend time speaking to their community, spend time speaking to their family about them being able to have the ability to protect themselves when they are away from them, I think it's crazy. Now, I'll give you an example. With my wife, all right, when they are out in the public, okay, when they are literally out in the public, being my wife or some of the saints' wives, the men's wives out there, there's usually 2 or 3 guns with them at all times. And we do our damnedest 2, 3, 4 times a year to make sure that there's some type of training going on. And we actually need to spend more time, because there's never, ever a time you can train too much. Is it uncomfortable? Sure it is. Is it inconvenient? Yes, it is. Are you going to get miserable? Yes. But you don't need, like I told one of my shies some time ago, I said, look, come into an air-conditioned building and shooting inside of a range is not going to prepare you for a real-world situation. You need to get out there in that back 40 back there and sweat. That's the whole idea. Get inconvenience. Let bugs hit you and stuff, because I realize when you go in these places, this air conditioning stuff, but when people start running for their lives, there's total chaos. And, when people have these AK-47s or whatever weapon they're using, they're just in there spraying, trying to kill as many people as they can possible. Have your firearm ready, but be careful how that you do have it ready. Be ready to draw that thing, because I'm telling you, if you show that firearm with a bunch of people that ain't trained, I can only imagine what's going on. But as we see, that people usually are running all over the place. You can see that these chaotically, psychotically insane people don't care if they kill babies. They don't care if they kill children. They don't care if they kill grandmamas, granddaddies. They don't care if they kill young, old. They don't care. They don't care one bit. They mad at the world. In this case, this guy's mad at Hispanics or people who he believed is coming over to take over the country. I don't know. But my concern here today is women, listen to this video again. Pass it around. I actually thought about going out and making certain videos showing how women do, how they move, how they navigate. Constantly stay aware of your surroundings. If you go down an aisle, as soon as you go down the aisle, you look in that aisle, you look to your left and right. You don't have to be obvious. Do it. Use your eyes. If you're in the middle of that aisle, turn to the product, so that way out your peripheral vision, you can see both ways, all right? And if you see anything that looks suspicious, get out of the area. Okay, let's say you're up there and you're in the checkout, okay, and you hear all of this shooting and stuff. Leave your groceries, leave everything around. Remember, where are the exits? Chances are the guy came in through the main exit, because that's how stupid they are, all right? So you may want to check and see which way. If you even see him running the opposite way down aisles and he's just shooting up people and stuff, take off and go the other way. If you're just happen to be married to a veteran who was in the infantry or the airborne or some or a retired ranger or a ranger or whoever it is that has special skills, more than likely he's automatically going to react. Yes, he is, because it's just his training kicking in. And more likely, he's going to go to the threat and eliminate that threat. Because these people usually is no match for no veteran whatsoever at all. They know what the hell they're doing, I promise you that. And that veteran more likely going to put a bullet in his head and get a kill straight off the bat, or put about 2 or 3 in his chest cavities plus 1 in his head, just to make sure that the threat is eliminated. And they're going to kick the gun away from him. But, you know, I try to keep this as simple as possible without using a bunch of terminology and technology, words that we're used to speaking with each other and stuff. I wanted to try to make this as simple as possible. But women, please, there's nowhere in this world that you go as a soft environment. Just a little while ago, we had somebody whose family was at the Garlic Fest out there in California, and shots fired, and people got killed out there. Do you know what these chaotically insane people were doing? They went right back to another festival again the following week as if nothing ever happened. Why do you need to go to this thing? Listen, we don't live in the environment where, when you look at used to there be a sitcom out called Leave It to Beaver. Them days are gone. They've been gone. This world is crazy. This world is crazy. Protect yourselves. Even out here in the country. Even out here in the country, we demand for our sisters to be armed and to stay armed when they're here on this land. Walking up the hill, down the hill. Don't you take nothing for granted at any given time. It's sad. But that's just so happen to be the world that we live in. Pastor Dowell, listen, he wants you to live, be able to raise your children, be able to live life in peace. But hey, sorry, we live in a chaotic, demonically inspired world that there are some people out there, they don't want you to be happy. They don't want you to live in peace. And I think more than anything, the biggest problems in this world is the preachers who refuse to train their people. Oh, we're going to depend on God. Okay, I'm sure some people was praying, where was God at when all these people were being killed and dying in this chaotic raid right here? I'm going to pray. They ain't the time to pray, because you know why? The same one over in Exodus said that Yah is a man of war. The same one that said over in Psalms that he has trained my hands for war and my fingers to fight. It's all throughout the book. The same one that father of faith of Abraham, who said that he armed his trained servants. Not only did he arm them, but he trained them. And for preachers to get out here and have this so-called conscientious objector as if you're in a war zone, you are in a war zone when you're in this world anyway. As soon as you get outside your front door, you're in a war zone. But I'm telling you, you need to get away from these people that have this faith without works, because faith without works, it is dead. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. That means kill. The thief cometh not but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Y'all better listen to this Israelite pastor right here, because you know what? I would hate to hear the story that somebody's child got shot and killed, all because the parents decided to exercise passivity and be complicit and complacent.
Okay. I just want to share that with you guys. I just want to share that with you guys. I don't know what's twisting over here. I don't want to play that right now. But yeah, I think it's good information. So please share this video with many people as you can. And I want to say that one experience I've had was a few years back. I was at a 7-Eleven store in Colorado Springs with my daughter, and it was around probably 10 o'clock at night, and we was going to stop by and pick up 1 or 2 items from the store on the way home. And when I got to the 7-Eleven, this person was casing the store. I could see this black guy had he had a like a scarf on his head, and he was looking to the right and looking to the left. He was just acting strange, acting really strange. And it wasn't many people there. It's almost like he was waiting for the people to leave the store. And so we pulled into the parking lot there at the store, and I looked around, and I said, you know what? I'm not going in this store. We're gonna leave. I say something's not right. Something's just not right. And so we left the 7-Eleven quickly as possible. And when I got home the next morning, I called the 7-Eleven. I called that particular 7-Eleven, and I said, well, didn't you guys have any trouble there last night? Because I said, well, just looking, some weird guy was out there last night, like he was wanting to rob the store. And the guy said, yeah, we had a robbery here last night. And I knew that was about what's going to happen. And I just followed my instinct, like Pastor Dowell say, following your instinct. And I went home, and I'm glad I didn't allow myself to go into that store. So we do have to listen to our instincts, listen to the Holy Spirit guiding you. I do believe that the time is coming when we're going to have to rely on angels more and more and more. I put angels over the households and businesses and my ministry and all the people involved in my ministry every night, every day. And I just heard a testimony here today. I'll talk about another time, but I'm going to go now. People, just wanted to share that video with you guys, get it out to other people. And I'll be back with my missions report later today. So you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. I'll be back soon with another video. I'm just going to say shalom, shalom. Love you guys so much. Shalom, shalom.